Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Twist Gaming. We are here live at Gen Con 2018 in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I have the pleasure of hanging out with Mr. Andrew Will from USAopoly, who has brought some really cool games to show off today.
Yes, absolutely. I have two exciting new games that will be coming out a little bit later this year.
Okay.
This first one is going to be coming out in October, and I think everyone's aware of all the great stuff we've been fortunate to do with Harry Potter. We are continuing.
Bam.
Bam. There you go. I was like, ooh, something's happening.
It's my TV magic.
Yeah, we're continuing to leverage that partnership. Warner Brothers has been great to work with and bring some awesome Harry Potter games to the market. Of course, we've been doing Trivial Pursuit and Clue for a long time, and Hogwarts Battle, and the Monster Box of Monsters. And this year, we have three exciting new Harry Potter titles, including a deluxe Trivial Pursuit, a Munchkin Deluxe, and Harry Potter Codenames, which will be coming out in October.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert. We'll get to that in a second.
That's how you work in the callbacks.
Exactly.
So one of the questions that I asked you off stream, Codenames obviously an immensely popular game.
Yep.
Everybody's pretty much familiar with what Codenames is and
I
all
think
of the
so.
different kinds of collaborations or themes that you guys have done for Codenames. Like you've done the Disney
Yep,
one.
Disney and
You've done Marvel.
Yep, so this will be our third
Fantastic.
partnership
Here we go
with
again.
Codenames, with Check Games, and this one, of course, is for Harry Potter. So for this version of the game, for anybody who might not be familiar, we actually based the gameplay on Codename Duet.
Okay. And for those that aren't familiar, what's the difference between regular Codenames and the Duet version?
Right. So in regular Codenames, you are working as competing teams, racing to identify all of your cards on a grid.
Right.
In Duet, the gameplay is cooperative in nature, and we thought that made a lot more sense for Harry Potter because of the way the story is structured and what we wanted to kind of convey with the game. So the idea is that we're all working together as members of the Order of the Phoenix. And what we're trying to do is relay secret information to all the members of the Order in order to try and thwart Voldemort's plans.
So we're still there with kind of like the spy secret agency theme that Codenames is known for.
Exactly.
With a very good link into the Harry Potter theme. Very
Yeah,
cool.
we like the idea of that story that, well, you try to do clandestine activities, sort of in the vein of Codenames, but how do we frame that for Harry Potter? Well, the Order of the Phoenix, working behind the scenes, trying to root out the evil that Voldemort and Death Eaters threaten with. So we thought that made sense for sort of immersing the story into the gameplay.
Yeah.
So the way it works is, you want to put one of these things up here?
Sure.
You can show both sides of it. The grid cards are double-sided. And again, you're working cooperatively. So as a team, you have to identify all 15 red spaces on both sides of this grid card.
So on here, I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and I'm going to have...
There's going to be 9 on the other side, too. Okay. So the way the grids in Codenames Duet works is there's 9 spots that as one team you're going to see, 9 spots on the other side. 6 overlap, and then 3 are different on each side.
Okay.
So you get a total of 15 that you have to identify.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you also see that there are 3 black spots. So in the regular Codenames game, there's one assassin.
Right.
In Duet, there are 3 potential assassin spots. 1 is shared on both sides, and then 2 are different.
So on this one, it's going to be this one here?
I think so. It's tricky. I always screw up what happens when you flip it.
It's this way.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's going to be positioned between us.
Yeah.
Right. So the top of this grid is the top for the other side as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you see that some of the spots overlap, some of them are different. So the trick is to identify all 15 spaces and avoid the Death Eaters. And the gameplay is exactly the same in that one team or one half of the team is going to be giving a one-word clue and a number and trying to get the other team the ability to identify on the grid the cards that are correlating to that. And again, if you can find all 15 before, this one is a time limit since it's not competitive, some number of turns, then you're going to win. So the game's going to include cover cards that have pictures of all the different members of the Order of the Phoenix, time turner tokens to track the turns in the game. When you hit an innocent bystander, you put one of the time tokens here, and it represents a Ministry of Magic character. And of course, the black spots are the Death Eater, so you have to avoid them.
Very cool.
Familiar Codenames gameplay, but modified for cooperative gameplay based off of Codenames Duet.
So somebody who's going to, I mean, Codenames is a game where I feel the audience is just a very broad audience, that everybody kind of can find something in Codenames. And so now this is definitely also for your Harry Potter fan.
Exactly.
And I feel like Codenames is that kind of game where if you do not have gamer friends, you're looking for birthday, Christmas presents, and your friend is a Harry Potter fan, just in and of itself, this is a perfect gateway game to kind of get your friend into the hobby.
Absolutely.
Or that they would enjoy just because.
And like we've done with Disney and Marvel, all the cards are double-sided. So one side has images, and then the reverse has words that are going to describe those images.
Nope, that was the wrong card to grab. There we go.
So you can play Codenames traditional word style, or Codenames picture style, or mix and match and have some words and some pictures. So you get some variability there as well. But obviously it's going to feature all of the great iconic Harry Potter imagery, characters like everyone's favorite Dolores Umbridge.
So we were talking a little bit about this and how I kind of got in late with the Harry Potter thing, and I've never hated a character in any form of medium more than I dislike her.
I think that that is a pretty widely held opinion. She's pretty awful.
Terrible.
So yeah, so this is Codenames Harry Potter,
awesome.
And this will be out in October.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
But now this is not the only present that you brought to show us today.
No, but wait, there's more?
But wait, there's more!
I think that's a different game. But also a great game. Just not one that we make.
I was really just excited to show off the jazz hands. That was really my opportunity.
Well, that was fantastic.
Thank you. Really? Was it fantastic?
It was fantastic.
Sometimes I feel like it's a little choppy. Maybe a little beastly, even.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Well, on that cue, I'm going to put this down here and bring up this beauty.
Very, very cool. Let's see. See, I'm going to switch it around on you.
I know. So this is Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. So this is a cooperative dice game. We call it a magical game of chase and chance.
Okay.
And the way the game works is you're going to be playing as one of the key characters from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So you've got Newt, Queenie, Tina, and Jacob. And again, this is based primarily on the characters and stories from the first movie. It will be out next month, so in advance of the second movie. But it's really focusing on still the story about the beasts. We haven't really delved into the crimes of Grindelwald yet, but that will be coming obviously in November with the second movie. So we'll be excited to see where that takes things. And the object of this game is to cooperatively work together to capture a set number of beasts that have escaped from Newt's suitcase. So everyone's going to get a player board.
Okay.
And why don't you grab one of those,
Sure.
just so I give you an idea. And you have a little health marker you can slide up at the top there. And then you're going to take a stack of these beasts.
Okay. So let me do this. I'm going to take Queenie. I'm going to take Newt. Even though they're awesome characters, I'm going to set them aside for a moment.
Okay.
And I'm going to set up my player board right here so that everybody at home can kind of see my player board.
Perfect. So the way this game works is everyone's going to choose one of their characters. You start with a full complement of 10 health, and you've got all these abilities that are tracked on this player board. And I'll go through them really quick. There's a protect ability that's going to give you shields, protecting you, keeping you healthy from the attacks of the beasts that are trying to escape. Capture ability, which you're obviously going to use to try and capture the beast, put it back into Newt's suitcase. A distract ability, which is going to thwart some of the beast attacks back against the players. An insight ability, which lets you get these bonus cards to help you along your way. And then a capture 3 ability, which is just an upgraded form of that capture 1 ability. Yeah, obviously. It's going to do it 3 times as well. So you're going to start with a beast, and it's got a spot here along this track. And what you're trying to do is advance this little mover so that the beast is brought all the way back into the suitcase and captured.
Okay.
And if you manage to do that, you're going to move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole big stack of beasts here. Maybe if you want to show off a couple of those.
This was my favorite part of the whole movie. I like the beast. Okay, I'm a little close here with my hand cam, but we will make
you can get an idea.
Work.
There you go. Well, you can just show off some of the art and some of the beasts that are going to be featured. So the way the game works, as I mentioned, is you've got these abilities on your player board, and then you've got these beasts you're trying to capture. And if you can capture 5 of them before one of the players gets stunned or too many beasts escape, you're going to win. The way in which you do that is by rolling this set of dice.
Okay.
And it's sort of press your luck style. You're going to get 3 rolls, and at the end of that third roll, that's one of
that is blue,
yeah.
and I just want to make sure that gets shown off because of our green screen here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to start by rolling all the dice. You can set some aside and re-roll, and after 3 rolls, you're going to apply your dice to your ability board for your character. And what you need to do is ready the abilities by rolling a set number of symbols as indicated. So, for example, if I wanted to ready Tina's protection ability, I just have to roll 1 shield. If I want to ready her capture ability, I have to roll 3 of these capture icons. Her distract ability is 2 of that icon. If you roll the set number there, you can fill in that bottom section on your player board, which readies the ability. Then you have to roll 1 more of that symbol to set the ability. Then, every time you roll that ability icon, you can take that action. So the protect ability is going to give you or someone else a shield. The capture ability, of course, is going to bring the beast closer into the suitcase in the effort to capture it. The distract ability negates some of the beast's attacks as it fights back against you when it's trying to escape. The insight is going to give you these bonus cards, which you can use for extra icons or rerolls or other mitigating factors to help with some of the luck.
So let me just put one of these on, because we talked about these real quickly. So then this particular one would be roll 2 less black dice for the beast. Here we have that iconic image that looks like it comes from one of something.
Yeah, that's the capture icon. So that would just count as an extra capture icon die for when you're taking your actions and filling out your player board.
And I also wanted to point out, as we were discussing about rolling the boards, rolling the dice to fill the boards, that this is asymmetric gameplay, right? Because while here Tina has 2 shields for my protect ability, if you look over here at Queenie, she's going to need 3 to ready, right?
Yeah, so the characters are better and worse at some things. Jacob, being the no-mage, is not particularly good at having insight and granting magical abilities, but he's actually pretty good at distracting the beast and helping New capture it. So, yeah, every player board, every role you take is asymmetrical, and some players are going to be better or worse at different things, as is kind of appropriate for the story.
Yeah.
The other fun thing about this, though, because the game is cooperative, is when another player has set their ability, if you have also set it, you can work together. You can assign your dice to other players and work off of their abilities as well to be more efficient in your turns. So it has a really great cooperative nature where it's like, okay, well, you've got a protection ability up, and I do too, but they need shields, so I'm going to assign that dice to your player board because you've got that action ready, and it gives you some really good, fun, cooperative moments as you're working together to capture the beasts.
So so we're all working together to capture the beast, we're rolling the die to do our actions. What is working against us? Is it time that's working against us?
It's, well, sort of in the sense that the beast is trying to escape. So after a player rolls and takes their actions, the beast is going to roll, and that's what's indicated up here, how many dice the beast is going to roll. And based on the results listed here, they're going to generate certain effects like escaping, which is going to move them farther away from the suitcase. So they're a push-pull mechanic of trying to get them into the suitcase and them rolling and trying to get back out. Attacks, which is going to reduce the player's health. Or some other special abilities like forcing players to discard cards. So it's through those same dice and the sets of icons listed here that the beasts are sort of fighting back against the players.
Okay.
So you're asking, like, what's the time element? Well, if the beast managed to get all the way to its end of the track, it escapes, and then that's going to set you further back as your resources start to get depleted, your health gets lower, and you're just going to have to spend that much more time recouping your efforts to capture the next beast. Of course, as you go from one to the next, you're going to reset a lot of your player board. Once you get loaded up, you don't just stay fully powered for each sequential beast, or it would get like way too easy.
Makes sense. And how many beasts am I trying to capture in order to being considered won the game?
Well, you can scale the difficulty, so you could play as few as like trying to capture 3 or 4, but if you want to play a longer game and kind of push the efforts, you can. There's, I think, a total of like 15 or so beasts, so you can play to 7, 8, 9. So it really scales depending on how much challenge you want.
Very cool. And what you're trying to accomplish, maybe I could see this being fun, even like, let's see how many we can get before we all get beaten up. We're talking about the player boards being asymmetrical. Are the monsters asymmetrical as well? You talked about some of them having special abilities. They're rolling dice. Are they all rolling the same 4 blacks and 1 blue dice pool?
That's a great question. So they all have a different set of abilities. You can kind of cycle through a couple of those. You look at the top, they're going to roll a different amount of dice. The little Niffler is not as threatening. The Bowtrunkle is a pretty safe one. So you can see along the top, that's how many dice they're going to roll to fight back. And then along the bottom, what their results are going to be. So there's more no effects in that one. He's a relatively tame beast and easy to manage. But then some of them are going to do something pretty nasty regardless of what you roll for them. Even like this little Fooper has a lot of attacks.
So again, here we've got is going to have the dice pool of the 3 blacks and the 1 blue, and down here are all of our what's going to
different effects. So it's just going to be escapes.
So we have the
no effects.
Here you can see for the Fooper, we've got 3 for the attack options, and we've got 2 down here, but the no effect for our Bowtrunkle. Okay. Very cool. And it looks like they each have different paths as well. So different levels of difficulty in trying to get them back into the suitcase.
Exactly. And that's another way you can scale the difficulty in the game is by taking a look at how challenging the beasts are, the number of dice they're going to roll, how long their track is, and you can play a quicker game or a longer game.
And here, so one of the ones we showed, it had 2, and now we've got the demo guys, and then you've got the track of 3. Very cool.
Yeah, so it features all the really fun beasts that you mentioned you really
That's
appreciate.
That's my favorite part of this the whole movie.
Billywigs and Mooncaps and Okamis and Oh My. Nope, no lions or tigers or bears
anymore.
though. So this game is $35, and it's going to be available next month in September.
Awesome. Now, I know that I talked a little bit about Codenames and my opinion in it being a game that's going to be enjoyed by people who may not be board gamers but may enjoy Harry Potter, or people who just love the Codenames series. Who's the gamer for this game?
We really view this as a family-friendly game because it's cooperative, and the mechanics of just rolling and setting aside dice is a pretty familiar play pattern for anybody who's played any pressure luck games. So it's really, I think it's age graded 10 plus, but it's great for families, again, especially because of the cooperative nature. The kids can roll, and parents can kind of help get a sense of like, well, where do you think you might want to assign your dice? This is what this is going to do. This is what's going to help us out here. But you can see that there's not too much to it in terms of complexity other than rolling, deciding how you want to assign your dice, and working together to get those beasts back in the suitcase.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and bringing
pleasure.
us really fun games to check out. If I want to keep up with the updates for when these games are going to be released or where I can get my hands on them, where am I going to go?
If you'll check out our website, USAopoly.com, or any of our social media, we're basically USAopoly on everything. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Tumblr, what else out there? WordPress, I don't know. You name it.
MySpace, you still there? No,
I don't know. Maybe Friendster, is that a thing?
Maybe. I don't know. What are the kids using now these
the
days?
The Reddits.
Oh wow. Thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
My
and
pleasure.
guys, stay tuned for our day-long coverage here live from Gen Con 2018.